What up, YouTube? It's Alex, and I'm back at it again for another video. And you know what today is? That's right. It's Walking Dead Monday! Yeah! So, yeah, I know I haven't been on here recently, but today is Walking Dead Monday, and so we will be talking about the new season of Walking Dead, Season 8, Episode 100! Yeah! Now, ain't that exciting? So, this episode was pretty interesting. I don't really know how to describe it. It was very weird. I didn't really like it as much as other season premieres. They could have done so much more with storyline. And also, spoilers are ahead. If you have not watched episode 1 of season 8, pause this video right now and do not watch any of it. Maria, I'm looking at you. Do not watch any more of this video, because there will be major spoilers here. So now, now that I have warned you, let's keep on going with this. So this season premiere, as I said before, I didn't really like it as much as other season premieres. It could have been better. Storyline could have been way better. That's all I have to say. Storyline could have been way better. Because we get a glimpse of Old Man Rick. I would have been okay with just a glimpse. Not how much they actually did. They did it of almost every single time you came back from a commercial break. Bam. Old Man Rick. No. That's too much Old Man Rickness. That's like, I don't even know. I don't know how many commercials there was. Commercial breaks. I don't know. But too much Old Man Rick. First things first. That was too much. AMC, you should have waited. Cause let's be honest here. If any of you guys who are watching this have actually read the comics of Walking Dead, you already know what's gonna happen, and you basically know who's gonna be dying off this season. Because AMC has already said that they are gonna be following the comic books very, very closely with this. With this very big thing, because it's the biggest event to happen in the comics and in the show, and so they don't want to get anything wrong. So they're going to be following the comics very much. And so if you are a fan of the show and you kind of want to know what's going to be happening before it actually airs, go to your local library or local bookstore. Go pick up some Walking Dead comics. I read all of them within a few weeks. And, well, except for the newest one, volume 28. But, so yeah, I already know what's going to happen in the next few seasons. Who's dying, what's happening. But, so this season, I didn't like the beginning of it. I'm hoping they do more with the war, though. Because they hit us right off in the, out in the open with, we are going to war. They kind of already, said that, though. I know that they already had said that they were going to go to war at the end of last season. Season finale was ended with the quote of Negan saying, we are going to war." And so I guess I did expect some war action, but not as much as they did. I was expecting a lot more planning, because in the comics they do a lot of planning of any little thing that they're going to do towards this, that they are planning every little bit of it. And I didn't really like it how they just went out and did it. And that they are just like, okay, we're going to just try, we're just going to try to win this thing. No. And I also hate how they believe that they are just going to automatically, once they get there, that they're going to win. Automatically hated that idea. That's what they all had in their minds. That was totally stupid. I did not like that, because let's be honest here, in any war you don't sit there and you go out and you're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna have one battle and that's gonna be it, we're done with the war's won. No, you know that you're gonna have major battles, and you know that you're gonna have to plan. They just went out and were like, let's just start a fight, basically. And I did somewhat like the cars that they are driving in it, of that they're armored cars. That was actually pretty good. That was a good idea, and I liked it, but I would have liked to see them planning that too, because all we saw from that is them sitting there ripping off pieces of metal off of different things, and I didn't like that. If that's what it was. And so yeah, this episode, I did not really like that much. I was expecting a lot more from them, from AMC, and from just the show in general. I was expecting a lot more, and especially because this is episode 100. I know that sounds pretty insane. I thought they already reached 100 a while back, because I thought we were like at 120 already. Apparently we are not. We are just reaching 100. So yeah, that was pretty exciting. But I would have loved to see them do way more, because in I deeply, no one can like just feel just how much I hated the old man Rick. Oh my god, I did not like that. That's what they did, was the old man Rick right off the bat. That's what they're hitting you with, is old man Rick, and you already are seeing what Alexandria is going to be turning into after the war. I hated that aspect. Like, no, hold off until at least mid-season finale. Then we can see what Alexandria is going to be like after the war. Because I'm hoping, and I'm really, really hoping that they actually do this, is that they're going to take the whole season up for this war. Because I feel like it rightfully needs a whole season devoted to it. It cannot just have, or at the very least, mid-season. It can have half a season. That's as minimum as I say that they should go with this war, because it's the biggest thing to happen in the comics and the biggest thing to actually happen in the show. People might say that it was the governor thing. No, the governor did not do as much damage as this war will be doing to Alexandria. Because I am basing everything off of the comics, because the producers already said that they're going to be basing that they're going to be basing this season off of the comics very much. And so I am looking at it from the comic book point of view of like, okay, they have a lot to get through, because the war in the comics took up almost 4 comics, and that's like equivalent to a whole season of just all the details that they are going to need. I know that they are probably going to end the season with introducing a new group, and if you have read the comics, you already know who this new group is, and especially if you watch that video that I had a comment, no, not a comment, a link down below, in my first Walking Dead Monday. If you watch that video, you kind of already know who the new group is just by watching that, because they say it at the very, very end. And so that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that it's going to be at the very end of the season that they're going to be introducing this group. And so then it's going to be bringing it into the next season. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be, okay, we're rebuilding from the war. We got to rebuild Alexandria. We got to build the hilltop. We got to build the kingdom. We got to rebuild everything. And not so much the kingdom, as long as they don't touch it in the show, because in the comics they don't like really actually touch it at all. But let's be honest here, they could do that, because they're trying to get as much battle scenes as they possibly can in the whole show. But as to who's dying in this season, if you read the comics, you will already know who's going to be dying. There's a lot of videos out there that actually are predicting the deaths. Some of them are true, some of them are not so much true. People are predicting that they are going to be killing off Rosita. Rosita's not going to be dying, I know it. I have a very hard, deep feeling that they're not going to be killing her off during this season because of how she dies in the comics. I feel like they're going to be following the deaths of the people, how people die in the comics. They're going to be following that very, very heavily on that. And that every little detail of someone dying, they're going to do that from the comics. But I like it how everyone, though, also is getting very upset because in the episode, Rick had a good shot and had a clear shot of Negan. Negan is is unarmed. They could have came out from behind the cars, came out from their protection, and gotten him really easily. They could have taken that place. Probably. Maybe not, because they do still have the people inside of the building and have guns. But they're not coming out with the guns. They're not saying, okay, we're going to start this war now. Negan already basically said that he wasn't going to risk any of his people for this war because of what Rick wanted to do. Because he wanted to start a revolution and start going against Negan. Negan already said at the beginning of the actually in the middle of that episode, he says, we're not going to be wasting any of my people here. And so you already knew that wasn't really going to be a major battle. And especially with them shooting out their windows, that was so stupid and pointless. They could have held those bullets and shot people during this war because they're going to need it. They're going to need the weapon. They're going to need the ammo to kill the people that they are going to need to kill to win this war. And so I totally hated that also. This episode really wasn't one of my favorites at all. Hands down, Season 8 is already off to a bad start. And I'm really hoping that they're going to pick themselves up in the next few episodes. Okay, here's what we're going to try to pick up on. I also hated, though, if you notice, Judith ages like 3 years in the matter of months. That makes absolutely no sense. Because at the end of Season 7, you see her and she's still a baby. Well, like, she's like 1. You see her at the beginning of this season, she has aged at least 2 to 3 years. She's either 3 or 4 years old now. And, like, people are saying that she's been a baby for quite a while. Yeah, she's been a baby for quite a while, but you can't immediately jump from baby, bam, toddler. No, you gotta ease it in, because it just looks weird. And then, especially with Old Man Rick, of that she ages another 3 to 4 years after that, of that she's either going to be 6 or 8 or possibly 7. I don't know how old they're going to make her, but it's so their timeline is so bizarre. It's going to be so bizarre and weird, especially with Carl, because in the comics he ages like 10 years, because well, I lied, like maybe 6 years, because he's like 18 in the comics at this point, now in the comics right now. But he's already almost 18 in the comics. He's 17. In the show, he's already 17. And so, how are you going to age him? If you age him, he's going to be like 20. And that's just going to look so bizarre. And like, Rick's really holding him back. So, I think that they're going to try to kind of do that with Judith. I think that the AMC is actually having the hardest time, though, with Judith. The hardest part is because she's not actually in the comics anymore. She was killed off when the governor was ruling. She was killed then. She was killed with Lori. Because Lori, in the comics, she lives through childbirth, but then dies at the hand of the governor, because the governor ends up shooting like the jail and everything. But so, I don't know, I think that's what they're having a really hard time is because they're trying to write in Judith, but they don't really know what to actually do with her. I also didn't like that they made Carl and Michonne stay back. That was kind of weird. I like the aspect, though, that if you look at it, Carl's not allowed to come, but you know who is? Enid's allowed to come! Why? No. I feel like they're just being discriminatory against Carl because he has one eye. But hey, did you not see him drive that car? He did a pretty good job driving that car. When he went to go meet Rick, he did a really good job. So I feel like that wins him some points. He can see clearly because he can drive a car. So he's doing pretty well with his life. But I don't know, this season is already off to a really weird beginning. And this beginning just fuels my hatred for, I'm so sorry, everyone. For, not Gabriel, Gregory. Oh my god, Gregory, if you can't remember who Gregory is, it is the leader of the Hilltop. Where Jesus has come from. He's the leader of them. And it just fuels my hatred for him even more. reading the comics, also just watching that they're actually really following very closely with what they're doing in the show with like just with Gregory um is really like they are very close together about that of him sitting there telling them you gotta telling the hilltop anyone from the hilltop you gotta turn back now where you stand with the saviors and everything like that and then Jesus starting to say no we stand with Maggie now. That actually was the difference between the comics and the show. In the comics, a few people actually turn back and say, you know what, I got a family back at the hilltop. I can't risk their safety. And so I did like that though, that they changed that, of that Jesus just sits there and stands up for himself and says, you know what, no, and stands up for basically anyone from the hilltop. And he says, you know what, no, we're not going to turn away. We're gonna stay here and we're gonna fight this because we need to stick up for ourselves because you're too much of a wuss to do anything, and so and you're just bowing down, and so I love that, and especially and I feel like Gregory should have turned, of like his mind should have turned and been like, hey, you know what? This revolution actually is being a good thing. Especially when they sit there and they kick him off. They kick him off of a balcony. Oh well, not a well, like stairs. They kick him off of stairs. That was the difference between the comics and the show. They actually kick him off a balcony in the comics, but but they kick him off and say, oh, you said that this was gonna work, but he still sits there and he's standing with them. He's standing with the saviors. They're still but they're just being terrible to him, and he's like, you know what? I'm still gonna stand with them. I also hate but then it just fueled my hatred when he sits there and he steals that car from Father Gabriel. I hated that. That he sits there and he steals it. Father Gabriel comes back, risks his life to come save him, and then he runs and he gets into that car and he drives off. I hated that. I was like, are you serious right now? I did like though, if anyone actually watches the after show of Talking Dead, I did like I love the memorial of when they sit there and they just say like it's our final farewell of the people on the show who died. I did like how they did the farewell to the RV, the metal masked RV. I loved that. It was hilarious. I do like it though that they end up just sacrificing it and just to kind of give it a little extra oomph of like we are starting this war and this is how we are starting it. We are starting with a herd right at your front door basically. That there's going to be a herd knocking at your front door and waiting for you. I love that. And that they're going to have to sit there and that the saviors are going to have to sit there and try to figure a way out. And in that time that the hilltop the kingdom and everyone can sit there and help come up with ideas of okay, what do we do now? I am really hoping though that they do one thing with Father Gabriel. That if you read the comics, you already know that he's a really good sniper. He's the best sniper that they actually have at Alexandria, and I'm really hoping that they actually follow that of like that he finds out just how good he actually is with a sniper. Um, I'm really hoping, especially but I don't know since he's now in the hands of Negan, because the episode ends with him sitting there saying his quote from the if you watch the commercial, you saw it of I hope you got your shit and pants on, and but I also didn't like one that if you watch the first episode, but you watch the commercial first of to try to get you to come back and watch season 8, and you immediately watch the first episode, everything that they advertised in almost every single thing that they advertised in that commercial was done in the first episode. No, you don't take everything that you were going to do that looked like you were going to spread out throughout the season and you don't do it right up off the bat and do it right then and there. No, didn't like that. But so yes, so that was my rant about Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 1, and Episode 100 for the whole series. So, yeah, if there is something that I missed and you would like me to actually talk about it or see what my opinion was on it, leave a comment down below. If you want to see other things on this YouTube channel besides Walking Dead Mondays, or you would like me to watch another show or something like that and do a review on the show, leave a comment down below. Or just ideas for videos, leave a comment down below. And if you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button too while you're down there. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Okay, see ya.